back to Section 4 Fans, the podcast with real fans, real takes. Episode 24, we're going global. We're going to kick things off talking about the 2026 Winter Olympics. It has been a bang so far over in Milan Cortina. And then we're going to be shifting to the pitch as MLS season is officially kicking off. Winter competition and a new MLS campaign. Let's get into it. You've been watching a lot of the Olympics, or kind of
Every
just
single
pick and
day.
choose? Yeah,
Every single day I've had it on at work.
right there with
Kind
you.
of
Me
just
too.
watching it. I've actually picked up a new favorite kind of sport, I feel like. I think speed skating, the short track,
The
and
short,
just
yeah,
the long distance is so much fun to watch. I don't know
definitely.
why. The short track especially is super fun to watch just because of how I didn't realize how physical it gets.
Yeah, I think I've watched a couple of the speed skating races, and majority of the ones I've watched, they've had to restart because there's been a crash before the completion of turn one. So
Yeah.
they've had to restart. I was watching the one today, and it was long distance. I believe it was like 1,500 female, and
hmm
our or U.S. skater, she got DQ'd after they like reviewed the crash in turn one. But in that crash in turn one, I think it was a Polish skater took a blade to the face.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I was so that was pretty interesting. Obviously, you don't see that too much, and they were talking about
No.
or you don't see that too much anymore. They were talking about some of like the advancements in protective gear that
I mean, she had
athletes have been wearing, but
they had the Oakleys on as well.
yeah, there's also like a full like bubble shield, almost like the hockey helmet.
Sister came home for some reason.
Yeah, but they have kind of like a bubble thing. So
Yeah,
instead of the
I saw
glasses,
that Polish
yep,
long distance guy. It's like almost like a Star Wars helmet, it looks
yeah,
like.
it's similar to I guess like the hockey helmet bubble that some guys use, or I
Well,
guess
it
more
goes
so. And
it's a visor pretty much. It goes
yeah,
to like here so you can breathe.
but that's definitely interesting there. But yeah, speed skating has been pretty entertaining. I think majority of the people have been watching the
Snowboarding.
hockey. I've been watching quite a bit of the hockey, men and women's. Great win from the women's as of
That
we're
woman's team
recording.
is
That was yesterday. They won. I believe it was yesterday.
yeah, it was.
Um,
They're
over
good.
Canada, and that was not only a win but a great comeback. And they were unbelievable the whole tournament. I think they only allowed 2 goals the whole time they were out there. So that's a pretty incredible stat line to put up there. And bringing home gold is something that many athletes dream of. The one thing I found interesting was that the coaches of even the team sports don't
I
get a
legit
medal,
I brought this up
and
today to someone.
and I get the point why coaches don't get a medal in terms of like figure skating, some of like the other events where it's only like two athletes, four athletes, things like that. But I think for like in terms of hockey, I think they play a pretty big part into it. But yeah,
I
I
think
found it shocking that they don't even get a medal. So that
yeah,
was pretty interesting.
I think it's one of those if they get one, everyone gets one kind of medals. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, uh it is about the athletes, about the Olympians. Coaches, I believe, are just as much Olympians just because of the amount of time and effort they have to put in as well as these Olympians. But at the end of the day, it's the Olympians that have to go out there and perform. Uh, so yeah, I thought it was weird. I wonder if they get anything specific besides a medal. Maybe I don't know what it
yeah.
would
I'm
be.
I'm thinking maybe USA Hockey, or like our own Olympic Federation.
Would
They give something out. Maybe it's not a medal, but maybe it's just something physical that they can
Yeah,
have in remembrance, but also, I think the coaches and the rest of the staff are going to remember that moment for probably the
exactly.
rest of their lives. It's something that is just so unique, and not a lot of people get to experience that.
And you got to be a pretty selfless person, I feel like, as a coach for an Olympic team, knowing at the end of the day, you won't get anything to show that you won a gold medal for with the team that you put time, effort into.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
Especially like for figure skating, for example, they help these figure skaters come up with routines. I'm assuming, I don't know specifics behind it,
Yep,
but
yep.
um and it's the same. I mean, I'm sure there's coaches and snowboards to help come up with tricks and
Oh
just
yeah, yeah. They all got coaches or like quote unquote trainers, something in
yeah,
that realm
exactly.
where
And
they're
and
getting help.
yeah, and they might even put in more time. I'm not saying more effort, but more time for sure. Um it's I wouldn't say it's sad that the coaches don't get much credit, but I it's you got to be a selfless person for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's just a very interesting piece that, I think it's overlooked, and I don't think a lot of people realize that,
Yeah, no.
they don't get medals as well. So that was just one of the interesting things that I saw that I wanted to bring up. But besides hockey, some of the events I've been really liking were the snowboarding events.
Yeah, those are
The
always
half
fun.
pipe, even I think it's like the big aerial skis, where they go down
That's
and
that's that's
go off the
nuts.
ramp. That is the amount of airtime those people get.
They look so tall as well. They look
It
extremely
is
tall.
incredible to watch those athletes perform. Obviously it's very different from the Summer Olympics in terms of there's less team sports, there's less.
I I
It's just very different because you not only have to be like an incredible athlete, but in most of the events, you also have to be pretty creative, I believe, in order to, whether it's with a routine in figure skating or whether it's, coming up with new tricks, different combos, because obviously certain tricks can't lead you into other tricks. So just trying to find unique combos that the judges haven't really seen before to help with the scores. I think that is an additional part that makes the Winter Olympics that much more unique.
yeah, no, I think what's probably one of the most unique sports in the Winter Olympics is the biathlon,
Yeah, that is probably
where
very very taxing on not just your endurance but also your mental game as well.
yeah, and I didn't realize all the little rules in it. So what I realized is, or what I was watching, one guy missed like all his shots. One guy hit like 3 out of 5. The guy that missed all of them, they're just going together, right? This guy goes off
Yep.
right. This guy goes straight. I'm like, what is going on? And this guy has to go around a huge loop. And I
Yeah,
do a little
I
bit,
noticed that today as
do a
well.
little bit of research. So I guess if you miss all 5, you have to go around like 100-meter loop,
Yeah.
and
I
which
want to
adds
I want
obviously
to
adds time.
I'm not
And
sure because you looked it up, maybe you know more, but I want to say there's like you still have to go around that loop. Maybe it's a smaller loop or whatnot if you know miss four or miss three. Because I was watching it this morning, and I believe it was the 15-kilometer one, and I want to say I watched a guy get like two or three maybe, and he veered off, and the other guy that got like five.
in biathlon, a 150-meter penalty loop is skied immediately after shooting bout for every missed target in sprint, pursuit, mass start, or relay formats. It was a mass
Okay.
start
Yeah,
today
I was watching Mass Start. So they
because
have to
they
do
were
the
all
loop
there.
every however many misses they have, right? That's
Athletes
what.
athletes must complete the extra loop for each missed shot before resuming the main course. What?
Okay, so if they
Wait,
miss all five shots, they got to go around that loop five times.
no way.
So yeah, I mean, not only do you have to be an incredible, Nordic cross country type skier, but you also have to be a pretty good shooter as well, or you're just going to get in terms of like penalty. It's not really a penalty, but you know it is at the same time.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking up biathlon 101 rules.
But
Um,
yeah, I think that's a pretty unique and
well, there's a
there
bunch of different
there's
positions as well. People will like
yeah,
go on their knees to shoot. People will lay down. People will stand up.
I think the hardest part is trying to bring your heart rate down to hit, a target that's about that size. It's very small and you got to hit five of
Okay,
them or going
so
around the loop.
in Olympic biathlon events, if an athlete misses a target during a shooting bout, they incur a penalty. Either extra time is added automatically to finish the finish time, or they have to ski a penalty loop for each missed target, depending on the event. In biathlon events where a 150-meter penalty loop is added for a missed target, the athlete must ski the loop once for every missed target immediately after the shooting bout.
So,
So
yeah,
if you miss two, you got to go around it twice.
twice, yeah.
So that's
That
probably
that
why you don't.
definitely
That's why you don't see people miss it 5 times, probably. And
yeah,
obviously,
I mean
they add time if you don't do it.
yeah, or another thing I was thinking about is maybe they add time, like if it's your last, because I'd imagine it's all one big, course, one big loop essentially.
No,
So
it's. I mean, like it ends up, I think, being a loop.
yeah,
I'll look
so
up the
so I'd
course.
imagine like towards the end, if you miss the targets and the finish line is not that far away, I feel like people would just add time, especially if you're well past the medal, the one,
Yeah,
two, and
well,
three
like
positions.
especially
Then
if
it's
you're at
like
the end and you're dead.
exactly. You might as well just take the time instead of the loops because you've just done 15 kilometers of Nordic cross country skiing.
All right, so dude, this looks insane. I'm looking at the map and it's just like it is like a loop, but there's like a bunch of different like things to it. It's I mean, it's a different type of athlete that you have to be in that sport. You have to be able to control your heart rate, um, especially when you just skied for however long at
Yeah,
full
you got to
speed,
bring it down so you
and you
could
got to bring it
focus and,
down,
and
and
hit
then
hit a target the size of like a freaking pea.
yeah,
Um, that's not even close to you, um, by the way. Um, but yeah, I mean the Winter Olympics. It's always
I
nice
I'll
getting to
tell
watch
you
them
the
because
the sport you got to be a psychopath to do.
go ahead.
The luge and skeleton.
Oh yeah, those people are on a different level of mental sanity, especially the skeleton going face first. I think I'd rather do the luge.
I don't know. Both are
No,
just as
I think I'd
risky.
rather do the skeleton. At least I could see. Granted that they're
You feel
going
like you have
fast,
a
so
little bit
yeah,
more
I'd feel like
like
I have a bit more control. The double luge, that is a trip to watch. I don't know if you've seen that,
I saw that.
but they just lay on top of each other. I'm not really sure. Kind of
Bob, I think bobsled's fun to watch. I like the
yeah.
bobsled,
Bobsled's incredible. I know.
but
I believe I think we've just had like the women's monobob, so just a one-person bobsled, and USA
I
lady
think
she
it's
got gold.
tomorrow is
So
like
that was
the
nice.
fours.
The two and the fours I think are happening, in the next couple days. So that's probably one of the last events to look out for, and those are pretty exciting to watch too. A little bit of teamwork. Everyone's kind of got their role, so everyone's got to be locked in if they want that medal.
I saw the Jamaican bobsled team do a warm-up run, and those dudes look like beasts when they're
Oh
running.
yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see how they train. Part of me wants to say that they don't train in Jamaica. I would say they probably train in
Well,
Jamaica most of the year, but then they go off site. In terms of like prepping for the qualifiers
yeah,
to
I
get
mean, like
qualified.
a
Yeah,
lot of people like the big thing with bobsled is obviously the start. That's where you pretty much make or break your time.
100%.
And
That and you got to have good steering because you don't want to go too high.
yeah, exactly. And a lot I've seen videos and stuff. They'll make like a homemade bobsled on wheels and they just
Yep.
make it heavier and they obviously do the whole thing and obviously they have workouts strict to bobsled and there might be who knows? At this rate, there might be like a simula bobsled simulator for steering.
There could be,
There-
with all the advancements, I honestly would not be surprised. But
Um,
yeah, I was just gonna say though, I kind of like the Winter Olympics. Getting to tune into that because you get to experience and watch a lot of the sports that you don't see really until it's the Winter Olympics again. It unlike the summer games where you can catch those athletes, those competitions more regularly, just because of I think it's easier for those people to train. They have longer periods, whereas like winter, you're basically locked in for only a couple months out of the
well,
year.
this is
It just depends on where you train. Um,
this is what I was thinking about. It's not like you start doing the skeleton at 10 years old. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like like
I think
a track athlete will start younger,
I
but
think
like
also is like with the Winter Olympics, it's a lot of people that have been athletes in other sports
mhm.
throughout their
And I
life,
have a
and then they've
question.
transitioned.
I have a
Then they've
question.
transitioned into a Winter Olympic sport,
I have a
unless it's
question.
figure skating.
Do you think if you started training now, you would become an Olympian in any sport in your lifetime?
No,
You don't think so?
in any sport. I
Any
mean,
sport.
yeah. Let me lock in the lab and on curling, bro. I could probably cook the stones there. Yeah. I mean, I guess you
Like
could say so.
skeleton.
Um, I guess if you're thinking about it, at least in my brain, it would probably be more likely to be in a for like someone to start training now to be an Olympian in a winter sport than it would be a summer
Summer.
sport.
Well,
Um,
they got breakdancing.
no, not anymore. They got rid of it after that was
Ah,
a disastrous event last year. But yeah, I think I'd say so, but it also depends so much on the sport. I think so many athletes, like snowboarding, figure skating, hockey, a lot of those people start when they're younger, skiing. So it is going to be more difficult if you
I'm
were to start
looking
today.
I'm looking at
But
the summer sports.
I
Oh my
think if you
gosh, there's a
transition
ton.
to like bobsledding, if you transition to curling, not saying that any of those are easy because they aren't by whatever means, but I think if you were able to dedicate, let's just say, dedicate the next 10 years of your life, okay, you'd be 30. I think you could have a pretty good shot at, maybe not making the Olympics, but you could probably be pretty close in terms of qualifying. Definitely give people a run for their money.
Yeah. I mean like handball, for example. You think you could
I don't know. We barely even have a team in the States. That's just not our game in the summer.
there's so many summer sports. It's insane.
Yeah, they keep adding some new
3v3
ones.
basketball,
Did you see they added a
squash.
new one into the Winter Olympics?
Did you watch that?
The
The
ski
ski
mountaineering.
mountaineering? I watched it. It
That
was
thing
really
was
weird.
insane. Um,
It was interesting.
I kind of like seeing that type of event. It's definitely odd. It's not common by, any means. So I think it's always nice to add some events every now and then. Obviously, I
Yeah.
think Winter Olympics is going to be harder to add events.
Yeah,
Excuse
because
me.
you're only so limited.
Yeah, because you're only so limited to basically ice or snow sports. Um, Whereas like Summer Olympics are able to add and take away and add a lot more. Golf has come in and out. Surfing's, I think, started a couple years ago.
Hmm.
Obviously, breakdancing came in. That's never coming back. More than likely, that was horrible. But yeah, I think the Summer Olympics just gives a bit more flexibility in terms of what they could add. But I wouldn't mind seeing a couple new sports
I
in Winter Olympics every now and then, though.
I looked up potential new Winter Olympic events that they should add. So they have men's Nordic combined, obviously women's Nordic combined could be added. Dog sledding, um,
They do have Nordic combined.
for men's, but not women's.
Okay.
Cross country running in the Winter Olympics. I'd love to see dog sledding in the Winter Olympics.
That'd be interesting. You'd have to really pick some. You'd have to have some
And
good
I th you,
canines.
you
That'd
could
be
have some
interesting.
you could have some issues with some like PETA and stuff.
Okay, but like also if you think about it, there was a wolf that got on the
Yeah,
cross country or
yeah,
Nordic
the
track a
someone's
couple
dog.
days ago. Yeah, it
Yeah,
got loose
someone's
and was just
dog.
running with the athletes. So it'd be like animals like that.
But
That'd
still,
probably be.
I think you'd have some angry people protesting.
Yeah, I think that's also a hard one too.
I think it'd be a great sport.
You could say it'd be hard to add because it's not really on the athletes. It's kind of on the dogs. But also
Well, look at
if you say that, then
equestrian or whatever
then
it
there's
is.
equestrian.
Thank you.
Um, then
I butchered
it's
it.
the same thing basically. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an animal. It could decide if it wants to jump or not, or if
Yeah.
it could decide if it wants to pull a sleigh or not. I think that could be something, but I think it also depends heavily on where the Winter Olympics would be. Obviously, they'd have to have a lot of like snow and ice, and it'd have to be somewhat of a flat course. It couldn't just be straight up a mountain.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that'd be interesting there. The Winter Olympics have been very good. We got a great game. I'm looking forward to Sunday gold medal
USA,
Canada
Canada.
USA. That's going to be a absolute banger of a matchup. Um, predictions. What do you think? How that game's going to
I
go?
gotta go USA.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
USA
going.
is the better goaltending, and I'm gonna stick with that. I've been saying it all tournament with Hellebuck. Don't put Swayman in. Um, yeah, I'd say the goaltending wins it for USA, but the only scary thing is Canada's power play, and USA hasn't let up a power
Yeah,
play goal all tournament, so it should
yeah.
be
I did. Yeah,
just two freight trains
Canada's
running into each other.
Canada's power play. We saw that today. They were able to get a goal right at the end
Hmm.
on Finland, and that ultimately won them the game. So hopefully the U.S.'s power play kill can help lock that down. Obviously, I think we got. I'm biased, but I think the USA team's just got the better guys. I know Canada has some of the stars, but I think in terms of a collective group, I think the men's team is U.S. men's team's in a better spot there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's hopefully we get another gold to bring back to the states. But I think we can kick it over back to the
Yeah.
pitch.
Oh,
We got
kick
uh,
it.
we got MLS season opener tomorrow, and I think the main game people are talking about as start as like in terms of the kickoff for the MLS campaign this year is LAFC against Inter Miami. I think that's going to be the must-watch game of the weekend. Obviously, it's with Messi and Inter Miami, so that everyone's going to want to tune in for that. But I think LAFC is once again a very good squad. I probably will mess up his name, but they got, I believe he's a striker,
From
Denny Buanga or Buganga, depending on how it's pronounced.
Liga Max.
But he has been incredible, and then pairing him up once again with Son, I think that's going to be a great duo to look out for in the MLS. Not, I know you said you haven't been paying too much attention to the MLS. There's been a lot more prim on, and that's been easier and kind of more in the headlines. But I think now with MLS getting kicked off, I think we're going to see a lot more storylines coming out stateside there. Just if you want to go through and kind of just do your top five teams that you think are kind of ones to watch or must
Hmm.
watch for this
Yeah,
season.
I'll do we'll start there and then make our way further into it. Austin FC is gonna be first on my not like top on this isn't in order or anything.
Not in order. Yep, yep.
They signed Torres from Orlando City. I think he will be huge in helping them score a lot more goals. They were the lowest scoring team in the Western Conference. I think signing him to help up top will be a big difference maker. Uh, so that's one. Number two, I have, where is it? Two. I'm going with Columbus Crew.
Okay.
Uh, Obviously Nancy left, uh, but I think, um, I'll be honest, I don't have, I don't
You
really
you
have
don't
it.
you
I
don't
don't
have
really
any
have,
notes for them?
no, I don't. But I know in the past that they've been good. I don't see them dropping down the table at all.
Yeah.
They
Um,
signed I see they signed former Malmo manager
I think
who
just to add with your note here real quick is they do
yeah.
have Diego Rossi, who I believe was a Golden Boot, or I believe he was a Golden Boot winner a couple years back. And he's a pretty good attacker to have on your squad there.
Yeah. No, and they open up who do they open up against? I don't even see who they play.
They got away at Portland, so
Yeah.
that's going to be a tough match I think to open up with away at Portland. Portland is a tough place to play.
Yeah. Moving on here. I have Seattle. Obviously they lost their midfielder Vargas. Um, but I just think Seattle's always in the mix when it comes to pushing for a title. I mean like
Definitely.
you think of MLS, I feel like you think of Seattle Sounders with that Xbox logo on their jersey and Clint Dempsey running
Yeah.
around. But so that's why I have Seattle. I got two more, I think.
Yep.
I'm going FC Cincinnati. Evan Dare, their forward, who I have never heard of in my entire life. I looked him up. He looks like an absolute beast, I'm be honest. He looks insane. And I think he's going to be my Golden Boot winner as well.
Okay.
Evan Dare. And then lastly, I am going with Nashville. Uh, with uh, adding Espinoza in as a free agent is huge. Pairing up with Mukhtar and Surridge. Those two actually combined for an insane amount of 40 goals last year.
Yeah,
And
Henny Mukhtar is always up there in Golden Boot and MVP conversations. He's been,
yeah.
definitely a one to watch since he's been in the MLS.
And I think Nashville will actually make a push to the finals this year.
Okay. I think, I just want to say this. I think everyone's going to be like, oh, enter Miami, enter Miami.
I wanted to avoid Inter Miami and
Yeah,
LAFC.
I'm avoiding enter Miami, purely just because, they got Messi, they got the other stars. It's not really anything different, anything
Everyone
crazy.
knows everyone's
Yeah,
going to be watching them either way. So,
I think for me to start things off, a team to watch for me is going to be FC Cincinnati, as you mentioned. Um,
mhm.
they just look like a really good squad, and they've also add some good defensive help. They have Miles Robinson and Matt Miazga as their center backs. So I think that's
Good
gonna,
great MLS standard.
yeah, I think that's gonna be great for the MLS. Um, and they finished quite high last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can make another deep push in the playoffs. My second team that I'm going to be looking out for is going to be Charlotte FC. Uh,
Lost
I, I really,
Agaman.
I really like this squad here. Once again, they got Wilfred Zaha, so he's going to be a guy to
Got to
watch
stay
out
healthy.
for. As long as he stays healthy, that's going to help Charlotte quite a bit, as he's going to be, basically their star to look out for. They also have Tim Ream at center back, so that's a great guy with.
Wheelchairing himself out there.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely put some miles on his legs, but that's great prim experience,
It is.
high level player that he's had to be the past couple years to be able to compete in the Prem, and now he's back stateside, so that's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up there. They also have Luca Della Torre in the midfield
I saw
for
that.
Charlotte, so I think that's going to be, I think those three guys, if they can keep them healthy and keep them dialed in, I think that's going to be a pretty good trio of guys down in Charlotte. The third team I'm looking out for is New York Red Bulls. I think this is an interesting squad. I believe they finished pretty underwhelming last year, and I'm hoping they could bounce back this year. Head coach Michael Bradley, former U.S. Men's captain, I believe, and Toronto FC. I believe he was there for most of his career. And just looking at their squad, I think they just have
Brought back Cade Cowell.
just a very good squad. They have, obviously goalkeeper wise, they have a little bit of young talent, and they also have some MLS proven talent in terms of Ethan Horvath and John McCarthy, depending on which way they want to go there. The rest of their squad, they also have Emil Forsberg, former, I believe he was Leipzig player. Thank you. He came halfway through the year last year, just like a couple other big European stars did. So I think now having a full complete season for him, I think is going to be able to.
I think he came a year before that.
Did he come a year before that? Let me fact check this. He came last year, 24.
Really?
24, 25. So last year, I mean, he was decent. Put up 13 goals, 8 assists. I think now he's going to be able to click, though. They also have Cade Cowell, who I've always liked Cade Cowell since he was at San Jose. He's just, I don't know, he seems like a guy you just can't really hate on. And the guy that is a one to watch out for, I think, if he could just catch form, is Choupo-Moting. I think if I think if he can stay healthy, he put up 18 goals last year. I think if he could, keep it going, I wouldn't be surprised if he could hit that 20 mark there. So New York Red Bulls is kind of going to be a sleeper team. I don't think they're going to finish, number one in the East by any means, but I think they should be competing for a middle of the pack playoff spot in comparison to what they were last year.
Yeah.
My last two teams to look out for is going to be, where was I at? I think it's going to be Vancouver once again. They lost in the MLS Cup to Inter Miami, so that was a bit of disappointment. However, I think they're bringing back another great squad. They also still have Mueller, so that's just incredible talent to have, incredible leader to have.
What did you say his last name?
Thomas Mueller.
Is that how you say it?
I would assume so. I don't have that. Well, I don't have that German of an accent, so. They got him. They also have Berhalter, who kind of burst onto the scene, towards the end of last year and got quite a few call-ups for the men's national team. Whether you hated him or you loved him, I think he did quite well for the U.S. team in those games he played, and I think he's slowly getting into some of the best form in his career. And he's 24, so he still hopefully has quite a bit of career left in him.
Number one.
Yeah, number one. We're going to have to go with
You regretting it or what?
I'm just making sure it's the right choice, personally.
Well, you might as well go with it.
I think I got to. Well,
You
I was
can't
just
go
gonna.
back.
Yeah, I mean, you said you weren't gonna do LAFC, but I'll just do LAFC.
That's fine, yeah.
Obviously they got the star power. They've made themselves a name. Since they've
Magic
won the
Johnson
cup,
at the wheel.
he's at the wheel. They've had Gareth Bale. They've won the cup with him. Now they got Son, but I really just love the duo of Son and Buanga. I think that's going to be a terrifying upfront attack for MLS defenders to watch out for this year. He's been basically, I want to say he's been one of the front runners for the Golden Boot, it seems like, every year since he's been here. And, the rest of their squad is not as strong, but I think if they can, keep the goals coming, I think that's going to solve the rest of the problems. Obviously, they have a guy that also got nope, never mind. Wrong guy I was talking about. They do have a very old Aaron Long, so an MLS veteran. He's injured at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see if he can come back and make his way into the squad. But they also have Hugo Lloris, I think many people have forgotten that he was, once a world-class goalie. Some people would say that. Obviously, a World Cup winner, so you can't hate on him too much because I think he's reached basically the pinnacle of what you could dream in the football world. So I think as long as he stays healthy and Bouanga and Son can keep going up front, I think that's going to be terrifying to watch. Just for reference, Bouanga had 26 goals last year. And that's also going to be my golden boot prediction right there, is going to be Denis Bouanga.
That's the show.
Yeah, that's it. Episode 24, section for fans. See ya.